This video is for Tita and so many of you who are asking questions about tucking tailbone with those who have difficulty with the low back and neck issues. Generally, today we'll show you seated pose and standing pose, and in lunges how to do tucking tailbone. What I had to learn, especially for me and so many of my students who have a neck and low back problem, tucking tailbone, if the students are standing, from the side view, where the sacrum is, you actually, if you tuck the tailbone from the sacrum, many of you misunderstand. It is tucking sacrum straight down, which pushes you down and compress the low back. It hurts your low back, and then your neck actually moves back. So what you have to do is always include telescoping the rib first. And then nowadays, my tucking tailbone comes from, I'm going to touch her, but sit bone right there. So sit bone engaged, but this sacrum part keeps in neutral and goes up a little higher, so your neck stays in neutral line. This is a tucking tailbone from, because your tailbone basically is very bottom of your spine, not here. This is a sacrum. So this part stays up and tucking from the sit bone part. Same thing applies in sitting poses. 옆으로 앉아서 측면으로 돌아, 정면 보자. So this is a seated pose. When you do a seated pose, if you keep doing tucking tailbone is coming from sacrum like this. This actually collapses your ribs, and which is not a telescoping the ribs. Telescoping the rib first, and feel the weight not on the spine, feel the weight on your sit bone and the leg. So your leg feels very engaged all the way to the active feet. Then watch this neckline. This neckline goes up. Instead of if you sit back, keep sitting back, the whole body comes back, which give a little neck. You have to sustain that pose, so your neck tension is gets worse. So come on up, inner leg, and then the sit bone, very bottom of the sit bone, both sit bone is touched. Your sacrum goes up toward the upper back, telescoping all the way to your neck. And twist is the same. Let's have her do a twist. 오른쪽 돌아, 저쪽으로. So if you're doing twist from here and do twist, this gets very kind of left-sided also. But so many of you twist from hips, so which actually makes you collapse. Staying up is a key on your leg. Stay on your leg and the sit bone. Telescoping the ribs first, inhale. Exhale comes from very low ab. Then, if your both sides of the ribs up and twist goes from here, chest gets open, your upper back gets twist this way. So your whole spine is spiral being twisted. So always first yoga, lengthening the spine first, then twist comes from the belly to stay upright position, not collapsed. And inhale, come back to center. One thing that I incorporate a lot of these tucking tailbone in lunges. Let's have the student get into lunges. 왼발 앞으로. So many lunge position that once you get a little develop a little bit of a flexibility at the hip, they like to sit on the front heel. So this gets lunges open outside of the hip flexor, but basically this is missing that tucking tailbone motion. Telescoping the rib first, then front of the hip bone where the iliac crest is, the hip bone, need to be coming up, not sitting on it, need to be coming up. Tucking comes from, as I mentioned in the standing pose, not on the sacrum. Sacrum lifted all the way up, so your back of your neck is 뒤로 약간 와봐. Not this way. Stay right above the hip bone. Sit bone comes from your sitting bone. And opening the front heel, then release the front heel, maintaining, keep front of the hip straight up on both sides. And your inner leg goes in, your inner arch, inner calf is engaged, which involve both sides of the hip instead of just outside the hip, keep opening. This section, look at this sacrum and then the upper back. You continue create space versus sitting down, compressioning your low back. So this needs to be maintained. Stretch and lengthening comes from the leg muscle, front of the hip, not from pushing down and sitting down. And come on out. This is just the basic of it that I apply, tucking tailbone. So when you see tucking tailbone part, like today, we mentioned, come on up one more time. Active feet is the key. When you feel your feet being active, not nervous tension, spread your whole top of the feet bone from heel to the toe. Spread out. Both leg is lifting you up, actually, not pressing down. So everything is engaged energetically. Sacrum is not the tucking tailbone section. This comes all lengthening, longer. Tucking from your tailbone is very bottom of your spine. So it comes from engaged sit bone, helps you to tuck just straight down, not curling so much forward to rock the hips. This part also, continue lifting so your neck is in neutral place. This is a tucking tailbone. In standing pose, we'll see her back, extended warrior variation. We'll practice extended warrior variation. So if you over-tuck, what happens is, yeah, she just does, if you over-tuck, this gets really flat on the sacrum. Then what you do is, right now, I am showing her hips. Over-tucking pushes your front of the hip forward, so your pubis pushes out. Lengthening pubis and inner line in neutral, so where the sit bone area is engaged. All the way to your inner leg and active feet. This and this section goes up like when you are standing. Yes. So it lengthens up all the way and shoulder blade down. This motion actually turn your thigh, not externally rotate, internally straighten from the pelvis. So this section goes up and lengthen. Legs are engaged from sit bone all the way to the heel and inner arch also to spread your active feet. And inhale, come on up. Heel toe. Thank you, Mijin. I hope this helped Tita. And if you don't know, if you have any questions on it, I can answer that for you through email. Enjoy the video.